Sooner or later, Ripple will become its own banking standard. Here's why. And yes, with XRP. Let's get right into this. So for one, shout out to Smoke once again. I have some detailed information I want to get into as well, but he points out this specifically, and that is, it was just a matter of time before Vanguard became involved in digital assets. It was all documented, and here's where he's going with this. He pointed this out literally last year, and boy, oh boy, has it come into fruition. He says, yet, I personally wouldn't count on Vanguard as they are just behind BlackRock in controlling the ETF industry. They were basically a direct participant in Swift blockchain trials and centered in this presentation, of course, with Ripple. All right, let's pull this up. So for one, he highlights this from Ledger Insights, and as we blow this up, you see specifically this. It says here, at least at the time, Swift shared the results of its latest corporate actions blockchain pilot, which it declares success with plans to progress the work. It says here, basically, at the time, the experiments involved 6 organizations, included, of course, American Century Investments, Citi, and Northern Trust. But in the previous trials, Vanguard was also a participant. Goes on to mention, also at that time, as a result, asset managers, custodians, and brokers must do a lot of the manual work to establish the correct data, but the goal was to have this pilot to create a golden copy of the data which is shared amongst the participants. Also at that time, the trial used Swift messaging standards and supported the participants in sharing data across the blockchain network. And again, it's all about the next phase of it all, right? So as I pull up more information about this, I want you guys to see on their screen, it's all about the big three, whether we like that or not. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street do in fact at that time make up the majority of the ETF industry. That source comes from Bloomberg. And of course, the biggest whopper of them all is BlackRock with 35.5%, but right behind it at 29.3% is Vanguard. And I would agree that doesn't get mentioned enough. And this other key area, what does need to be mentioned enough, is the key participants with their infrastructure. And for one, what do we see? Ripple, Temenos. As we know, Temenos, key integrations with both Ripple and both Stellar to things like FedNow. We also see PNC Bank, and we also see Santander. We see, obviously, BlackRock, HSBC. Heck, you even see Berkshire Hathaway and all that, right? Really interesting to see all this stuff. All right. More importantly, as we pull up more about this, see other key insights of it all, and again, how we tie in more things about Vanguard. In the findings, it says, with Vanguard now opening access to crypto ETFs, there's no better time to bring this back up. I would totally agree. Former eToro US CEO Lule Demasi, I know I'm butchering it up, apologize, said it clearly, quote, digital assets are the first asset class in history that the regular person entered before institutions. Interesting. And here you are, the regular person who got in before the biggest players. So ask yourself, why get bearish right at the largest financial institution step to lift the very assets you already hold? Couldn't agree more. I'm going to play this video. This is under a minute. Listen closely to what is being presented. Here we go.
Value, right? So what's interesting about digital assets, you have to remember, is it's the first asset class in history in which the regular person entered before institutions did. That's why everybody's up in arms, right? Regular people, this was a retail individual person phenomenon before it became a Wall Street phenomenon. It's one of the first asset classes. I challenge you to find another asset class. So it totally like upended the idea of what power looks like, what power structure looks like, how technology works. And so I don't want to lose that wisdom. That wisdom was really valuable, regardless of like normalizing regulations, ingesting and digesting the sort of the bad actor issues. We should not lose that wisdom, that access to technology to a broad set of people is the way that you mitigate the evils that could reside in it.
I couldn't agree more with that statement. Taking more into this, listen to this for yourself. This is also good. Take you over to here. Let's now enter into the whole thing of the FDIC. Now, there's guys like my uncle, God bless him. He has always been a big proponent of, well, the only thing I want to take a chance on is actual real cash. And he, of course, locks up a certain amount. I won't disclose what that is, into his bank account and earns interest on it and so on. But in reality, why is he doing that? It's because he trusts the FDIC. And a lot of people out there also do the same thing. They look at the FDIC as, at least I can have at least what, one account up to 250,000 protection on my FDIC insurance. So what do? If they're multimillionaires, they make multiple accounts and so on and go about their business. But check this out for yourself, just in case if you have never been aware of it. Ripple with the FDIC. Yes, with things like XRP, could very well be. See it for yourself. Smoke points out in the FDIC presentation, it does mention XRP. Well, people like that. They don't want to just say Ripple. But it is documented. And in the finding, especially from this FDIC pamphlet, says specifically the things that matter to us the most. And with that also said, it's all about native and intrinsic digital assets. A native digital asset is an intrinsic part of the blockchain software. Like it says, BTC is housed on the Bitcoin blockchain. Newly created coins are assigned to the block market. Total number of Bitcoin increases with time up to 21 million. But more importantly, Ripple with XRP is housed on the Ripple network. XRPs are shared among key participants. And of course, provided by the FDIC. All right. Again, why point some of this out specifically? Well, excuse me, what we see here is profound and we're sharing. Because right below that, 23 hours ago, Cointelegraph points out that the United States FDIC plans to issue implementation framework for Genius Act this month to establish oversight of stablecoin issuers. Some people are getting so impatient with this, but that's how it works sometimes. And this was indeed shared on December 2nd. So that is worth pointing out, right? Absolutely. Taking you further into this outline and why it matters to you, we do see here some other key things that are worth pointing out. So for one, FDIC to launch formal bank stablecoin framework by 2025 year end. Okay, so literally within the next few days, because the end of the year is coming up real soon, regulated stablecoins will soon become a foundational component of the core settlement infrastructure in the United States banking, and it is documented. And of course, you see here this was originally posted on November 18th. Some of you guys are aware of it, but I want to pound it home that much more because you may have missed it. So for one, we see the high impact news and regulatory developments. For one, FDIC signals formal bank stablecoin framework, like we just mentioned. Acting Chair Travis Hill revealed plans for tokenized deposit insurance and a structured application process for bank-issued stablecoins, advancing U.S. regulatory clarity on blockchain integration with traditional banking. This represents the first formal FDIC pathway post-Genius Act, positioning regulated stablecoins in standard settlement infrastructure. That is worth pointing out as well. All right. What about states, though? Right? That's federal, but what about states? Are states doing its own thing? Can they do their own thing? Can they basically come at this whole thing sideways? Well, draw your own conclusion. Smoke also posting this, the list of cryptocurrencies and digital asset laws enacted by states during 2025. He originally shared this just the other day on December 1st. This is also worth pointing out because in his findings, you will see some key things. Below is a table of legislation enacted in 2025. This comes from Kansas Legislative Research Department. But it does point out the whole thing of what you see here. Even in my state of Arizona, you see HB 2387, if you wonder what HB stands for, like House Bill, okay, regulates the operation of cryptocurrency kiosks, includes cryptocurrency in the state's unclaimed property laws, right? Arkansas has some of these laws, Connecticut, Florida, Iowa, Kentucky, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, even New York, right? So interesting to see this. And I do agree with this gentleman's statement. I want to pull this up. Don't exactly give out a lot of other shout outs, but I do agree with this statement from El Kirkador. He points out, but the ones we really need sit in the Senate now for 3 months while the big dogs eat. The rest of us basically wandering our hands and wonder when. Yeah, everybody asked me that in the comments. When, Max? When? You got all this research. When? Hey, guess what? I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have specifically research that's worth pointing out. And if anything, I meant to share this tab. So here's the guy, right? Shout out to you, El Kirkador. So I don't know. Maybe you guys don't feel as though it's worth pointing out, but I do. All right, so here's one of my key findings. I think this is good. This was just shared a few hours ago, and it comes from TradingView. It says, key facts. Let's point this out before we close it out. It says, Vanguard launches XRP ETFs Ripple gains approval in Singapore. Vanguard has introduced XRP-focused ETFs, including XRPL, Bitwise, and XRPZ. I should say XRPI, not XRPL. Enabling regulated XRP investments. The Bitwise ETF started trading on November 20th. A lot of you guys already know about that. And it attracted, at the time, significant inflows. We did see price XRP kind of spike a little bit. And of course, we saw all that Binance manipulation, but it is what it is. But Ripple gained regulatory approval from Singapore's Monetary Authority, enhancing its license to offer token-based settlement options that does include XRP and improve cross-border payment services. Last but not least, the launch of several spot XRP ETFs has been announced, marking a notable development in the XRP market. So we'll pay attention to all this as usual, and if anything, find out more about the developments, especially with the one that we talked about that should happen this month, December 2025. So that's the research. That's the outline. Do me a solid if you listen to it all. Again, a quick outline today, which is cool. Type in this key comment into the comment section. It gives me feedback if you listen to the whole thing. And that comment would be SOL. And it doesn't mean out of luck. It just means sooner or later. Right? But you may feel as though that you're out of luck when it comes to XRP. My answer would be no. But it is what it is. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. May the Lord Jesus bless you all. Truly mean that. We'll see you guys on the next video. Over and out.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I have many friends that are earning every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. And again, I'm not trying to have any of you guys use your hard-earned money to lose anything. You don't know what you're doing? Don't jump into this, but there is money to be made, and don't use your nest egg for leverage trading. Use a separate portfolio. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy. You don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you.